All right, well, happy New Year, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Today is January 9th, 2023, and this is the Grove Homeowners Association, our monthly board meeting. And so just wanted to just welcome everyone to this evening's meeting. It will be the first meeting of the year, and just this meeting, I don't expect to be extremely long. I'm just going to cover some kind of higher level things because we have some research and work to do as we make some decisions for this year as well. We do have a couple new board members, so again, you'll have an opportunity to kind of see some new faces making decisions. And so again, I'll just start off by doing the roll call. I'm Kevin Watler, the president of the Homeowners Association. Cindy Cole, I know you're with us. Can you just do a mic check for me, please, Cindy? Okay, we'll come back to Cindy if she could work through her audio issue. But other Cindy Wolf, secretary.
Present.
Thank you. Thomas Rossano.
Present.
Joseph Hudson Martin. I will remember at large.
Present.
All right. And then going back, Cindy, did you get your audio worked out? Can you hear us okay? I think she dropped off. She might have some connectivity issues. We'll give her another minute to see if she could get back on. Cindy Cole, can you hear me now? Cindy, can you hear me now? Okay. We'll just move on until she is able to join. So we, in the interest of everyone's time. So let's go through the kind of movements that we've had at the unit within our association. We didn't have any recent estoppel requests come through. Those that did come through last month actually finalized sales. So recent sales that we are aware about, unit 24, 2-bedroom unit was sold, and actually that new owner, I believe, is on with us, as well as unit 65, a 3-bedroom unit sold. Not sure what they closed for, but we haven't received the closing documents quite yet. But unit 24 was listed for 170,000, and unit 65 was listed for 185,000. So again, we don't know what they closed for quite yet, but that will be updated at the property appraiser's website in due course. It takes a little while for it to get there. Units that I'm aware of that are for either rent or for sale, unit 23, which is a 2-bedroom unit, was listed for sale for 150,000. There wasn't a estoppel that came in last month, but that didn't seem to have finalized. Also, I did speak to the new owner of 24 today, and they do plan on renting that unit, so that would be available for rent, as well as unit 50, a 2-bedroom unit. It's listed for 149,900. Unit 65, a 3-bedroom unit, is listed for 185,000, and unit 108, a 3-bedroom, is listed for 191,000. I didn't have any updates on that. Those were just from different Google alerts that I received over the last couple of months that they're on the market. So
Kevin, you actually have 65 listed as sold and for sale.
Oh, okay, so no, that one was, yeah, sorry, that needed to come
Yeah.
off. Thanks for catching that, Cindy. So,
Yeah.
yep. So that one did sell. Again, I don't know how much that did close for. I believe that one might be owner occupied if I am reading it right. But so again, I have not.
I'm
Hello?
in, sorry. I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me, but I can hear you. You can hear me now, I think.
Yep, loud and clear. Thanks, Cindy.
Okay.
All right. So moving on into some community updates and reminders. Maintenance fee is now $318. We know for 2023, we did raise the maintenance fee. So if you have the auto payments on your banking, for your online banking, be sure to make the adjustment so you don't start getting nasty grams from the property management saying you owe us money. I know it's one of those things that's easy to forget because it's just an auto pay that many people end up doing. And so just adjust that to 318 each month. Of course, if you want to prepay and pay for the full year, which some owners do, you may definitely do that. It's completely up to you. It's not required or anything, but just make sure you have your records updated. We're still having issues with people misusing dumpsters. I know we've sent out so many reminders, whether it's on social media, whether it's sending out emails, as well as we practically talk about it during every meeting. And of course, once we send a $100 fine when we identify someone misusing the dumpster, they said, well, I didn't know, or if you could give me a break because it's not like me, or they have a lot of excuses. There is a zero tolerance policy for people who misuse the dumpster because no one has an excuse for doing the incorrect thing. So again, please read over the rules and regulations. It is posted on our website, the do's and don'ts. It's very unsightly when people misuse it, as well as inconvenience and many others, especially recycling dumpster for those who do not flatten boxes. Thankfully, Cindy, as well as Miss Kay and a couple other members of our community went out there, went through other people's trash, flattened boxes so others would be able to have space to use it. So again, please be courteous. We want the community to look nice, and so we all have a part to play. If you do see someone misusing the dumpsters, or you see someone commit any type of rule and regulations violation, especially that's going to harm the community, please do let us know so we could address it with them. Don't mind, talking to them about it, because ultimately we want to keep a safe and secure and clean community so we all could live in a nice place. So also that kind of is a little bit linked to some of our security concerns in kind of a little in a possible fashion. We've had a lot more dumpster divers coming on our property during the overnight hours. So if you see them, please go ahead and call the non-emergency Lakeland Police number and report it, because it's a trespassable type of thing. We don't want them, especially dumpster diving overnight. During the daytime, not as much worried about it, because we do have some folks that come and take some of the larger items or scrap items that might be left in the dumpsters, like the washing machines, dryers, dishwashers, large items that people throw out. A lot of times they will come and take away, and that helps us as well too, so we don't have to pay for that to be hauled away. Just a reminder, if you have something like that that needs to be thrown away, put it inside the dumpster, not next to it, because again, we don't want it to be unsightly, and they will go and take it out of that during the daytime. But at nighttime, we don't want people dumpster diving, and if you see them, we need you to help report them to Lakeland Police to get them off the property. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you have my cell phone number, 407-267-8402. It's on my email communications. It's posted at the office. Give me a shout or text message, or shoot us an email, and we will get it addressed. Of course, if it's someone that needs to be addressed immediately, phone calls or emails phone calls or text messages is going to be the fastest way to get on to me. Don't send an email. One of the things I want to really say thank you to for a couple of members in our community, Natasha Davis and Rachel Burton. So Natasha had recently gotten amenity access. She's somewhat of a newer tenant that lives here. And when she got access to our gym, fitness center, clubhouse area, she noticed that the gym was kind of messy. It wasn't really, it's not used a whole lot. And so she wanted to kind of fix it up and reached out to me if she was able to do so. And, she asked if she could probably post on Facebook to see if she could solicit some help. And so she did. And another tenant had said, oh, absolutely, she'll go ahead and help them out or help her out. And so they cleaned up the gym for us and it looks very lovely. I did post a little thing on our Facebook page and just want to say that's the type of thing that we really encourage and want, because when people, chip in and do these things, it really helps make our community look better. We really appreciate what they did. And I'll just play a little video that we posted on Facebook to see kind of a before and after. Let me see, you all can see that okay, I believe. So, that's how it started off. And, they decided to just go through and move things around. They worked together. And in the end, it just looks really nice, and really appreciate their efforts. So we'll just kind of take a moment to watch them do their thing in this little time lapse that I created, so you all could see the hard work that they put in to complete this task. So again, really appreciate Natasha Davies and Rachel Burton for that. And if you see them around the community, please say thank you to them, because that's the type of thing that we really need to continue happening at the Grove, because we all have a part to play. They're renters, they're not owners. They both want to live in a nice place, and we really encourage that. So the next item, just to update everyone on, is the post-storm damage repairs. We're moving through the list of minor items now. All of the high priority and the medium priority items have been completed. Now all of the more aesthetic stuff is underway. We should have, I would say, about 95% of it completed by the end of the month. So we've run into a little bit of a difficult situation, especially with some of the siding. So if we were to replace a lot of the vinyl siding that is left to get done, it's going to look mismatched because of old and new. And so we're having a hard time trying to determine how to get that done. We were also told by more than one building experts, that vinyl should have never been put on our buildings for water tightness and other issues. And also it's just not as great for high wind events. So they said what we need to really consider doing is moving to a different type of material, such as hardy panel. So I did have that quoted for us to see how much it would cost for the buildings that are currently being re-roofed, because those buildings would need to get it, and we could recycle some of the current siding on those that we need to fix, just move things around and start to get things on track for the newer look for the association when we're modernizing our buildings with the metal type roofing and that sort of stuff. So the price is obviously a lot more expensive because of the price of construction going up. And right now, if we were to try to keep on the current schedule of the buildings that we wanted or were projecting to get done prior to all of the inflation issues that we've had, we're going to need to come up with $278,400 to get on track. That's not in the budget. So one of the things I know that we wanted to look at last year was refinancing the current loan that we have and seeing if we could get some additional funds to knock out some of the capital projects that we have. Because ultimately, if we were to continue just stashing away money like we have been and not having to finance a lot of this, we self-finance it without taking a loan out or anything, it's going to take us a number of years to be able to just do one building, or sorry, 2 buildings a year, and it will really slow down the progress that we have. And we don't want it to fall that far behind because we'll never ever catch up. So, Tom, I'm going to be getting with you sometime over the next week and see if you could start going through the budget a little bit more in depth, working with Lindsay, property manager, to figure out the next steps and start really looking at a refinance of our loan so we could try to get some additional funds so we could do this you know, a big capital project spend and get this stuff knocked out. So you have any questions on that, Tom?
No, I'd like to look at that and see, like how many buildings, it'll have to be over time, right? So, only
Yeah,
few.
so we would definitely have to have more discussions on this, obviously, and try to figure out, we do know the next buildings in line, so we already identified and know what buildings are next and what we need. It's just a matter of how much do we want to refinance for, and how much you think we could really afford to do, and what we would really be faced with, so we could have some more discussions on that. But just wanted to put that on everyone's radar, that, you know, we have the re-roofing plan online, but we're not going to be able to do it because the budget that we had originally allocated for it is no longer. It's just, we were saving at a much slower pace, but with construction costs up significantly, we're talking 30–40% on a lot of the original quotes that we had. It's just not, it's not doable anymore. We have to redo everything. And again, I got updated quotes for each building. So we'll
Kevin?
also,
I have a question.
sure.
That 278.4 that you
Yes.
quoted, that is for
Okay.
roofing and hardy board?
Yeah, so actually, so building 6 is our next in line. So building 6 is going to be TPO. The TPO is 33,800. It will include the metal mansard, which is 30,000. The siding and painting the siding, which would be the hardy panel, which is going to be at 7,500. It will also include upgrading the soffit, which came in at 4,000. So building 6, and so for your reference, where building 6 is, that is units 117 to 120. That building is 75,300. Building 9 is also on the list that is due. TPO for that building is, and for those who don't know what TPO is, that is the roof, the type of roof that we have. TPO is 46,800. The metal mansards would be, the metal mansards is what we're replacing with shingles, because we're moving away from shingles, because that too was not supposed to be on the type of building that we have. So bad decisions were made in the past, unfortunately, that we have to clean up. So that is 27,000. The siding and painting, the hardy panel siding and painting, is $12,000 for that building. The soffit is 5,250. So that building, for building 9, for your reference, building 9 is going to be units 103 to 106. And that building is going to cost 91,050. Building 13 is also in line, or due to get some upgrades. TPO is 46,800. The metal mansard is going to be 30,750. The siding and painting, the hardy panel, is going to be 12,000. The soffit is going to be 5,250. Total for that building came up to 94,800. And also the building that currently has the metal roofing, but needs to have the siding and painting, which is the hardy panel, which is 12,000 for that building. Soffit needs to be replaced, which is going to be 5,250 as well. So, and the total cost for that building is going to be 17,250. So the grand total for that would be, again, 278,400 for those. Once we complete that, that should actually bring us right up to what is currently due. And then we will still have to, in addition to pay back whatever the refinanced loan amount is, we will still have to aggressively start saving towards the next billings that are coming up. And that, if we could accomplish that, we would be able to stick hopefully to the schedule that is posted on the website. We do need to revisit and relook the buildings that already had some upgrades to bring them up to speed as well, because we have other buildings that had TPO, but they were reshingled, but nothing else. So we would have to try to figure out how to work those buildings in for the overhaul. So we really have to redo the whole entire plan. That you know, is going to sit down. We probably have a special meeting to really dive into that capital project. And depending, I mean, it all depends on what we would be able to qualify and reasonably spend for. But we would have to also likely look at the possibility of dropping the electrical upgrades in there as well too, so we could maybe knock that out. Or if it's not possible, we don't have to do that. We just need to kind of relook how we're going to do some of our capital projects. We have other things that are also things that we really need to start paying attention to, such as the roads are starting to really get potholes a whole lot more and more. We've been kind of patching them, so we need to kind of put that on our radar as well. Thankfully, the large irrigation system is completely back up and running now, so that big expense is out the way. But if we want really nice, beautiful grass like we had 6-7 years ago, we need to also consider resodding a lot of areas that are now completely weeds or dirt. So, I mean, we have quite a bit of things to try to catch up on, and we will have to really prioritize them, find out what the new costs are, and then figure out a proper plan to try to address it. So that's what I really want to focus on this year. I know that we're not going to necessarily accomplish everything that we want to on our wish list, but we need to start really looking through things a little bit more so we can just make this place, get this place right back on track. It's not as bad as it was before, but we want to get it much better, because there's still a lot of things that need to get done.
Plus mailboxes.
Yeah, mailboxes is also on the list. I'm still so fed up with the cost of the mailboxes. And for those who might not have heard or don't know, several years ago when we talked about upgrading the mailboxes, we were putting money aside each month, and we said we're going to take 2 years to save up to buy a new set of mailboxes. It's the ones that were put in there from time this place was built are too small and just don't work for us anymore. And that quote came up to just around $10,000. And then when we did have that $10,000 saved up for that purpose, we were reaching out to the company again to say, okay, we're about ready to rock and roll. And they gave us the new quote. That $10,000 for the same exact product went up to more than $30,000. I'm like, I had a hard time spending the association's money on $10,000 for mailboxes. There's no way you will ever convince me to spend $30,000 on mailboxes. It's just not happening. So, but it's something that we have to consider and do eventually. Our roofing company, the contractor that we use for roofing, actually did give an idea that we could potentially use them to install the mailboxes, and we would purchase the USPS required mailboxes ourselves out of pocket, and it should be a lot cheaper. It would require her to have a lot of conversations with the post office, because the post office has select vendors that are USPS approved. They're not. However, if they go through the process, we could still probably get it cheaper. But right now, we do have higher priority items than mailboxes. So we're just not focused on that at this time. All right, so that takes care of the building maintenance as well as the loan refinance. So we'll have.
Hold on
Penny?
1 second. Can we go back to the community updates? Did you miss security incidents? Item
did.
C.
I did. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. So we'll jump on back to security incidents. So as many of you have seen, we've been sending out some notices with some concerning things that's happened over the last month. We had an incident where what appeared to be a highly intoxicated individual was going door to door and pulling on door handles and on people's front doors. And he actually went to one of the units and made contact with the residents and was saying he's a safe guy, he needed to come inside, and he comes from a good family. I shared the video from the Ring camera on there. Just a very weird incident that we typically don't have to deal with here. And so police was called, he was arrested. Later we found out that he actually slept overnight in an unlocked vehicle, which reminds us, please lock your vehicles at nighttime. But slept in an unlocked vehicle and was on the property for a number of hours. Seems like police was originally called earlier in the night because, again, people saw the strange activity going on, but when police rolled around the neighborhood, they did not find him. By that time, it seems like he was either hiding on the property or in someone's vehicle, laying down, sleeping at that time. And then it wasn't until the morning when he started pulling on doors again, trying to get inside one of the residents' homes, when, again, she called the police and he was arrested and taken away. And police did say that he does have, or did have, a pretty lengthy criminal record. So glad nothing serious happened, didn't appear like anything was taken. It's a very strange event that happened. Again, something that's not really it's not something that happens here that often at all that I could recall. Something like that's never happened since I've been around. Another incident happened a couple of days ago that I sent out where, again, this seems to be a very isolated and strange occurrence, but the home the renters of that unit, they left literally for just about 1 hour. And within that 1 hour, only it seems like that unit was approached. When they came home, they found it looked like someone tried to use some sort of tool to get into the front door. They did not get in, but you could see where attempts were made. It was very visible. So again, very, very strange. It only happened in that window of 1 hour that person was not there for. No entry was gained. We don't know who it is because that area is not covered by our association's CCTV. No other neighbors in that area seems to have picked up any activity on their cameras. Didn't seem to have gone to any of those people that have cameras, homes in that area. So so we've had some strange stuff. We've had a lot of dumpster divers recently. If you go around and you see the dumpster lids a lot of times open, we check the camera to see who might have left it open, and we find out sometime around 3, 4 in the morning sometimes that we've had someone come across to go into the dumpsters and then they just leave the lid up. So we've had quite a bit of that as well over the last few weeks. So definitely, I strongly encourage everyone here to invest in something like a Ring camera or any type of other CCTV camera. I just know that the Rings works really well for me. That's what I have at my home, so I could talk about them. But you know, any type of good security system that you feel comfortable getting, I encourage everyone to get it, because it doesn't just help try to identify something that went wrong, but it also acts as a deterrent. When people see that they have cameras, they're less likely to get silly. So again, it's something that we all should consider having. We're in some very difficult times for people, and people are doing a lot more riskier things. So we just need to be smart with what we do and how we live. Even though we're still safer than so many other places, we have very, very, very low incidence in this community that we live in. But it's not impossible for something to happen. And so we want to just, do our parts to be safe and secure. All right, so back to 4C on the agenda, committees. So we did have quite a few people reach out after last year when we were looking for folks to join some of the committees that we really want to get going. We do have enough people to sit on an architectural committee. That's Kay Marty and Debbie Bournes. Those two are more than happy to sit on that, as well as we could assign a board member to sit on that as well. The Budget Financial Review Committee, we didn't have any takers, so Tom, sorry, no help for you there. The Community Beautification Committee, Kay Marty, Alyssa Ferrer, and Deanna Campbell said that they would join that committee. Social Events and Welcome Committee, Alyssa Ferrer and Victoria Dowdy said that they will sit on that committee, as well as the Violation Finding Appeals Committee. Debbie Bournes and Nicole Durbin said that they would volunteer some time for that as well too. So we do have some committees that we could get going. I believe the next meeting, our February meeting, will likely try to get those to become active, so we could really start getting some additional help from the community to do some of these things that ultimately would fall on the board member, property management, or just ignored because we just don't have anyone. And if anyone wants to volunteer, whether they own here, whether they rent here, we are not going to say no to your help. We'll find something for you. I do know that we have a couple other people that said they're interested in joining whatever committee we want to assign them to. Just let them know. So we will be able to have them on as well. All right, so that takes us to the item 5A on the agenda, board member certification. So this is something that is required for new board members, as well as if any of the current board members need to take a refresher if you guys want. But when you're a board member for an HOA, you have to do this little course, the certificate course, in order to just understand some of the laws and the do's and the don'ts for being a board member. So look out for that, Tom, as well as Joe, that we would need to get you guys to do it. Cindy Cole, I'm not sure if you need to get one done as well too, but we'll talk offline. I'll get you guys the information of some that are going to be happening. I know there's one happening at the Lakeland Country Club over there by Lake Hollingsworth on January 17th at 7. They run for a couple hours, I believe. And then there's another one at the, that one's in Brandon at a Commerce Club over in Brandon on the 19th. And there's a bunch of others. There's a lot of people that do put on the courses from time to time. So at some point in time, we'll need that to get completed. So we could have that in our records, as well as email addresses for our new board members. So I do have them just about ready to assign to you all. So I'll get with each of you so we could get you guys the email addresses. It's pretty much your title. So Tom, yours would be treasurer, which is what was Cindy's. You'll now take over treasurer at grovehomeowners.com. Member at large for you, Joe, is your email address at grovehomeowners.com. Cindy now has control of the secretary at grovehomeowners.com. And of course, I'm president at grovehomeowners.com. So we have those email addresses kind of to give to you, so you could start getting emails and communicating that way for when we have official HOA business to discuss. Cindy, you want to take over the next item for the occupant registration, since you are the owner of that?
Yes. It used to be a number of years ago that we asked everyone to renew their registrations in January of each year. And that was a bit of a nightmare to manage with 120 units and everyone submitting all at one time. So over time, we have changed that. And at whatever time the registration is done, it's good for a year. So if I've registered in January and then I get a new car in June, and I go in and do a registration to show my new car, then I'm good until the following June. So whatever your most recent registration is, it's good for a year. That said, please remember that there are two. So owners have to complete the owner registration and occupants have to complete the occupant registration. And those of us who are owners who live in our units have to do both because they have two different sets of information. Please be sure all people, pets, and vehicles are up to date and registered for your unit. I'm going to be sending out emails every month on a routine basis so that those who are expiring the following month will have notification that they're expiring so they can go ahead and plan to renew. Hopefully we can keep on top of that a little better than we have been.
Thank you so kindly. And then for property management, want to make sure that there's been a lot of little things that we want to tighten up and improve on. We definitely want to improve on some of the communication. I have not been extremely happy with different little things that sometimes I get made aware of. And so we want to try to improve some of that moving forward. So just to let everyone know, I will be having a meeting with Lindsay, our property manager, to kind of get things a little bit better organized, because I really don't like a few things, like I said, and it's the same exact thing with the office assistant with Katie. When I was looking through, and Cindy found some things that, you know, should have been updated and were not updated. So we're going to really be getting a little bit more stern and making sure that things are getting done. We are paying for these services, so we want them to be done properly and right, because ultimately it saves us a lot of headache once we get things, you know, lined up, and once we're looking for a record, if we can't find it, now we are wasting time searching for it when it shouldn't have been that way. So again, we're going to be trying to get a little bit better organized. I will be sending out more communication to the association. We do have the WhatsApp group that I'm going to be pushing a little bit more as well too, because that's a little bit more instant type of messaging. So anyone who wants to, you know, get different updates, please join the WhatsApp group. I'll drop it in the chat as well, as if you would like. Make sure that you email us if you can't find it, and we will get you added to the WhatsApp group, as well as if you're not receiving for some reason our email newsletters, that simply means something's probably not updated on the registration. And so we want you to, you know, reach out to us if you haven't received any of these, like meeting notices or anything, because we have been sending out information, and if you're not receiving it, it means something needs to be updated. So please stay informed. That way you don't end up getting a violation for something we said, hey, we've sent out information on this already, and you know, ignorance is not an excuse, because we do communicate, and we're going to continue to improve our communication. So I'll drop that in the chat, but while I drop, once I start doing that here shortly, are there any of our community, those who live in a community that want to address the board, have any questions or concerns? Now's an opportunity to ask them. So just raise your hand, and if I call on you, go ahead and ask your question after. I guess we did such a good job that no one has any questions or concerns, huh? Let's see. I'm going to drop that link here in the chat. So if you look in the chat feature, if you just click on that, that will, and if you have WhatsApp, it's a free download from the App Store. You could just download that app, and you'll get, it's like a text message service. You'll just get the different updates that we have. Again, we do post this to Facebook as well, but it's not going to be as instant type messaging like the WhatsApp. So Not hearing anyone, I'll just go through a round robin of the board members just to make sure we have no other board members that have anything to add. So Cindy Cole, you have anything else to add?
No, sir.
Cindy Wolf,
No, thank you.
Tom?
I had some questions about the buildings. I don't know if we want to talk about them now or.
We can, yeah, absolutely. Really entertain
Yeah,
that.
like the shingles that we just had, that was done only a couple of years there. Someone's saying that that's not the right way they were supposed to be. They should be replaced already, right?
So no, shingles, the pitch of our buildings is not made for shingles. It's made for a different type of building. So when we inherited it, we just followed along with, what was done in the past. So we've replaced it with shingles when we did updates. Roofers were like, it's not the right thing, but hey, at the time when we made the decision, we were given the option of what about metal? The cost at that time for metal was way outside the budget. And this is at the time, this is when Cindy and I pretty much became board members. We had 10 buildings at that time that had active leaks. We were dumping tons of money in it and they were neglected for about 20 years. And so we had to scramble to figure out the best way to as quick as we can, stop roofs from caving in on children at nighttime, which did happen. And so we did that. The current loan that we have, we were able to bring down delinquencies because delinquencies were also out of control. And so, the Grinch and the bad cop Kevin Watler decided to go door to door and knock on doors and tell people, hey, you owe us money, pay up. And so we got the delinquency down a whole lot and we were able to qualify for financing. And so we got 10 buildings re-roofed at that same time.
Right.
And, we got this place back on track, not perfect, but back on track. And so at the time, because metal was just way outside the budget, it just was not doable. But now that we've done the new shingles on those buildings that were done, we're starting to have issues with them already. So for instance, if you look on anything facing the lake, on those brand new done buildings, it looks horrible. You see these long black water stains and it does not look like those are 3-year-old shingles. In fact, one of them are 2 years old and it looks, no, it's 3 years now because COVID was 2 years. So yeah, they're about 3 to 4 years now on some of them. 3 years later, it looks horrible. So I was speaking to the roofer and said, okay, can you just give me the quote again on shingles versus metal? And shingles, the price for shingles have gone up a lot at a faster pace than the metal roofs, believe it or not. And so it's still more expensive to do metal than shingles, but at the same time, it's not that bad. The metal roofs, you get 50 years on them, according to the manufacturer. The shingles are 20 years or 10, actually 10 years for shingles. It's 20 years for the TPO, 10 years for the shingles, 50 years for the metal roof. So even though you're paying a little bit more, we're all probably going to be out of here in 50 years, right? So I don't think any of us are going to be around for 50 years in the association. So that being said, I strongly believe that we need to go ahead and just budget for the metal roofs, which we could pressure wash, we could maintain better, because when we're trying to clean that black nasty stuff off the shingles, we're killing the shingles because you have to soft wash them. Even when you do it, which we did already for some of those same buildings that were just done 3 years ago, it doesn't make it fade away altogether. And you're also taking the life expectancy off of it. So 10 years now down to 6 or 7 years, it's just not the right thing to do. So lesson learned, shingles was not the best option. We shouldn't have done it, but at the time we didn't know. And we need to just make some better decisions with what moving forward. And so metal is what is the recommendation from those who are in that space.
And as far as assigning that the hardy board, of course it's better, but I believe you got to paint it. I don't know many years, but you do have to paint those.
Yes, there is maintenance,
Think
there
about
is paint. Correct. Yes. So we would, once we have that, anytime we redo a building, we need to identify and start earmarking this is how much we got to save every month because this is the life expectancy of those projects. And so it might not be at the same rate as, you know, the roof or the mansards or anything like that. We have to kind of put a timeline on it. So we'd start throwing the money in the reserves. So we have the money and we don't have to necessarily finance in the future.
Kevin,
But that's not going to happen overnight, obviously.
Right.
This is long-term planning.
Kevin,
Yes, sir.
Bob Regler, my wife Brenda wants to ask you something.
Go ahead, Brenda.
Wait, just wait a minute. Okay. I don't know can you tell me the building number of one of the units that I own, 33? What building number is that? 33 on
23.
What, sir?
23 is what building 33 is in, and you also own 32, and that's building 22.
Okay, 22. Okay, what I'm asking you on that, on 33, the siding is hanging on the side of that. Is that going to be replaced by the hardy board then? Because that's hanging there. I mean, that's not even attached.
So I did see that it's already been reported to the roofer. I thought it was fixed, or it's getting fixed by this weekend. It just needs a screw to go in it. At this time, we're not making any decisions on a hardy board. Right now, we're trying to identify the best way to tackle some of that. But the one that's hanging, I know the little piece that started to hang down from that was damaged from the hurricane. It just needs a screw to go in there to hold it. They had fixed it, but we had, I guess, a little bit of breeze that comes up because you're also on the lake, so you have more breeze by your building.
Right, right.
So because of that, it wrapped around the building. It blew that one of the panels are hanging or whatever, and it just needs a screw to go in there.
Okay,
So-
is that going to create, because it's hanging, more leaks in the building? Because I've
No.
got leaks.
No, because you have a water shield behind it anyway. So it's just aesthetics at this stage. They put a water shield underneath it. So it's
Okay.
not what it could rain on its one, it's not going to damage the inside.
Okay, when you were
It's just a
saying
look.
that you put on shingles and you probably shouldn't have because of the expense, well, you said it's only been 3 to 4 years. And you said that they look really bad. Isn't that part of the warranty?
No,
Can't
it's
you?
not.
You cannot go back to them for the warranty on that.
Mm-mm. Nope. The damage from those shingles on your building was from the hurricane, act of God, act of Mother Nature, whatever you want to call it. That's
Right.
not covered under warranty.
No.
Also, even the mold and stuff on that, I did go back to the manufacturer. So it's one of those things that they talk about mold, but they have all sorts of other fine print on there that our wonderful Florida, the type of stainage that's on there is not covered underneath the warranty. The warranty is covered more for defects, and that's not a defect.
So you did address that, because I was wondering, if we could go back to the shingle place and, that
I attempted that already.
you tipped
That was
it
the
down.
very first thing I did. I said, hey, these things are getting black and ugly. They're looking all moldy. But no, it was, and I went more than one time. I went through first the roofing company,
Okay,
and then afterwards the roofing company said they turned it down, and then I went and did it myself, and also it didn't go anywhere.
yeah, because that building pretty much was taken care of. Now, my building that I have, one that I own on, in unit, I think you said, building 22, is that what it is, that I have?
Building
32?
22 is 32, your
It
unit
is-
is 32 in that building 22.
Yeah, that one has not, that building has not been updated though at all, right?
Not at all.
It was the one that was on the lake, that 23 was updated.
33 was updated.
Yeah, 33 was updated, but the building, I'm talking about the building, 23 was
Mhm.
updated, right? With
No,
the,
23 had no shingles, and that's not TPO either.
okay, all right, okay. I was
You
wondering
still have
about-
modified bitumen on that building. So
Okay.
that building doesn't have any updates.
Did you find out exactly what is covered by the homeowners on the hurricane damage there, or what?
Nothing.
I have
nothing.
to pay inside.
Inside is your responsibility. There's no insurance claim for the hurricane. One of the things we did after Hurricane Irma a number of years ago was 4 years ago, Cindy? Irma?
I don't
2017.
remember.
Whenever 27, yeah. When Irma hit, one of the things that Cindy and I had decided at that time was we were going to create our own hurricane reserve budget. So every single month we put aside a certain amount of money to cover damages from a future hurricane, because we knew we were going to get hit by a hurricane again.
Right,
So all of the damages that we had was covered under what we've already saved up for hurricane reserve. So we didn't have to do anything, even if we didn't have that reserve. Cindy, I'll let you describe our wonderful scammy insurance companies, because insurance is a big scam. If you work in insurance,
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I'm trying to get that done inside.
So Cindy, if you don't mind sharing kind of.
I learned, trust me, don't say flooding, okay? Because I did have a good adjuster when he came into the building, because at least he was protecting me and I was doing the right thing. The water was coming from the top of the sliding glass, okay? But I said, when I reported it, ignorance, that it flooded, right? Well, the water was coming in, it was flooding. It's just a term. He said, don't say that, because actually he took, my tenant luckily took videos at the time, and it did not come from the lake, because that would be a different insurance flooding, and it came from the roof and that. So luckily, him working with me, doing the right thing, because he had the video, we weren't trying to do anything wrong. But my term, when I reported it, I said flooding. He said, that's just a term. But anyway, we were able to take care of that, though. But you did have enough money in the hurricane budget to take that. That's good. I'm glad that you did that. Cindy, thank you.
Cindy?
Yeah, unfortunately, we will probably, hopefully, never have an opportunity to actually make an insurance claim, because it's a deductible. We have a deductible per building,
Okay.
and I don't even remember now, Kevin, what it is. Do you remember?
It's ridiculous, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't remember what it is, but whatever it is, you practically have to have near total loss for it to even kick in.
Right, the whole building has to
Right.
be.
Worth the claim. Otherwise, you're out of pocket.
That's the way the insurances are.
Right.
I understand that, but that
Yeah.
is, but I'm
It would be different if it was for the entire community, but because it's per building, I
right.
mean, if you add up everything, you might hit that magic number, whatever that number is. I forget what it is.
Right.
You might have that much in damage, but per building, you would have to have significant damage for you to hit that dollar amount per building.
I was just
unfortunately.
wondering if you were gonna change that with the other one. It doesn't make any difference, but I was concerned about that, if the insurance was able to help y'all out some.
Yeah, no, insurance ain't gonna help us out at all.
Okay, all right, I'll get off so anybody else can talk. Thank you for letting me know that answers.
No problem. Jay, you recognize.
Yeah, hi. Sorry, I have just a quick question. We had the program to make sure all the old electrical panels for the individual units got upgraded for insurance purposes by October of last year.
Mhm.
And I was just curious if everybody was in compliance now, and that program is closed out and that finished.
Yeah, there's less than a handful of people accumulating fines and have reached the maximum amount of fines for it. And then the next
Okay.
thing is to take legal notice for us to go ahead and enter their unit and do the upgrade at some point in time for,
Okay.
but at that time, I don't think we're gonna have to do that. I think everyone is getting compliant, but they were hit with $1,000 fine for not being compliant.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Mhm.
we'll be, look forward to hearing when it is compliant, when it's 100%.
Yeah, we are, I would say, there's less than a handful of people that
Great.
are outstanding. There is 2 units, I believe, that are going to be done this month. And then the others, we're working through those to strong arm it a bit more for them to be fully compliant. But we do have just about the documentation for all units.
Great. Thank you so much.
No problem. Any others? Jason?
Hi, I have the, I guess, scrap from the damage from my soffit. I'm not sure, should I leave them outside, or should I just tell you when, would be a time to either pick them up, or should I leave them somewhere? Just so they can either recycle those as whenever the.
Put them in front of the clubhouse, and then I will or in front of the work shed by the clubhouse, the little work shed to the right facing the clubhouse. Put them in front of that, and the roofers will see if they could use it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone else? iPhone 13. I don't know who you are.
Hey, Kevin, this is Spencer.
Hey, Spencer, what's up, bud?
Hey, just wanted to let you know that we did begin the landscape renovations in the small pool. So probably in the next week or so, we'll be excavating the dead grass and getting ready to sod. The irrigation guy is there. He'll be there tomorrow as well, rearranging some of the heads in the pool area. So you might want to. I didn't want to put anything on social media for closing the pool, but you may want to advise folks to not go to the pool for about a week or two.
Is that just a small pool or both pools?
Just a small pool.
Okay, no problem. All right, thank you. And for those that don't know Spencer, he owns here, but he's also in charge of the landscaping here. He owns Hall's Treehouse, and they recently took over our landscaping and helping us out with that, as well as our irrigation. Trying to help us get that grass back. So for those that don't know, we're also, if you look inside where the small pool is, it is a lot of the shrubs in there are all they're dying, they look horrible, they're diseased, and so we're cleaning that up to make it look better as well. So that's what he was giving us an update on, trying to get that project going for us as well. Well, I guess I lied at the beginning of the meeting. I said it was going to be a short one, and we took the full hour. So sorry. All right. Anyone else? Last call. All right. Well, I hope everyone have a great rest of your night. The next meeting is going to be on Monday, February 6th, 2023. There's a slight chance that I might ask to change that. I will not be in the country, but we'll see if we'll reschedule it or if I will just do it from the Cayman Islands. So I will let everyone know if there's a change, but for right now, plan on attending Monday, February 6th, again at 7 o'clock. And with nothing else, we will go ahead and adjourn this meeting. I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your night. Take care.
Good night. Thank you.